We are amazing because our passion is limitless and our drive is intense. Therefore, you will not deny our grind. You are now listening to the Faith, Grind, and Inspire podcast.
Welcome back to another great episode of Faith, Grind, Inspire. I am your host, Gene Alert, and today we have a very special guest, my man, Steve Canal. And what's going on, man? So the podcast is all about entrepreneurship, the mindset, right?
Right.
So, I mean, man, your bio, your work, your body of work, like, I thought I was busy. Man. But you've written best-selling books, The Mind of a Winner.
Right.
You've Amazon bestseller, like I've read tons of great reviews about this book. You've worked with tons of brands, U.S. Army, American Airlines, McDonald's, freaking Allstate, Tyson Foods. You even did a competition with Miller Coors,
right? Where
it was like an entrepreneur contest,
entrepreneurship platform I did with Damon John. On tour for 5 years doing that.
Wow, man! Like you're married, you have a kid. We're gonna talk about all of this stuff.
Okay.
Trust me. But this podcast, like I said, is about the mindset, right? So it's not really about the work. It's how does a person get to that. And that's why I love this title, The Mind of a Winner, because that's what you're talking about. It's like, how do you get to this place? How do you come from wherever you come from and build up? And we'll talk about what just happened 2 days ago, right? But with our boy Jay-Z, right? But the thing about it is, it's just like, how does that happen? You know what I mean? Like, what mindset do you need to get to that place?
Right.
So thank you, man. Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, man. My Haitian brother, I appreciate you.
Yes. And that's another one.
Out in these streets.
Yes, man. Absolutely. And, growing up Haitian, I definitely want to know, like, well, let's talk. We have so much to dive into, man. All right. So where are you from, bro?
Well, family's from Haiti, originally from Haiti. I have two sisters, a brother. My parents migrated to the States. They came to New York and they had me 10 years after my siblings. So I'm the youngest by 10 years. Father's side in Brooklyn, mother's side in Rockland County, which is about 25 minutes from New York City.
Yep.
So I was able to get the city life and the suburban life. So I was able to get both, which molded me to who I am today. So I appreciate it.
Nice. I like that. So you spent most of your time just going back and forth?
Back and forth, yeah. So, Haitian parents, they're grinding. They work 9 to 5, then they work a second job at night. So for the earlier parts of my years, I was in Brooklyn with my grandmother, my godmother, my brother, my aunts, my cousins, all in one house, in Brownstone in Brooklyn.
I know how it is.
Until my parents were able to manage, raising me as a youngin'. They had to get that grind in first. So started school in Brooklyn, and then when my parents were ready, I came over into the suburbs in Rockland, and I was with them.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Where did you go to college?
I went to Fordham University.
Bronx.
One of my goals when I was in high school was to get a college scholarship.
Yeah.
Because I knew that my parents weren't going to be able to pay for me to go to college.
Yeah.
So I can go to a community college and work that out, or I can leverage this skill, this height, and get a scholarship, which I did. And then I'm going to Fordham University on a basketball scholarship.
Nice.
Which
Full
was
scholarship.
Full scholarship. So debt-free getting out of school. So a lot of things were working, at that time. So I appreciate that as well.
So where did the original mindset of a winner or entrepreneur, in your case, you didn't start out as an entrepreneur, right?
No, I didn't.
You didn't, right?
Right.
So, like, where did this mindset of the winner came from for you?
So the mindset came from the values of my parents.
Yeah.
Leaving everything that was comfortable in Haiti.
Yep.
Because it's a different lifestyle. It might not be, what the lifestyle is in the States, but it was comfort to them. That's all they knew. But they left that comfort, they left their family, they left their friends and everything they knew to come to the States to give their kids an opportunity, right? That's what everybody comes to the United States for, is for that opportunity.
Yeah.
So when they got here, it would be wasted talent and value if you didn't incorporate that mindset to know, like, they sacrificed everything to give us a chance and opportunity. So who am I not to give it my all, right? waking up every day, it's, hey, don't sag your jeans. You can't get a fade or a part. You got to dress appropriate. You know, you have to have an amazing career. You have to do good in school. They couldn't teach me how to do my math problems or English history. So I had to figure it out. But I knew if I got home and I had a D or a C that I'd be in trouble. So I did everything I needed to do to achieve. So from early on, I had the mindset of anything is possible.
Yes.
Right? You have to put the hard work behind it. You might not have all the tools and all the resources, but you'll find a way.
You'll find a way.
And I was able to find a way given the mindset that was instilled in me and my DNA from my parents.
Yeah. And I'm like, yes. And I know my listeners are like, this sounds like Gene. Because
and we didn't talk about this.
No, we didn't talk about it. And I purposely, just because I know you do a lot of interviews, and most of the platforms, they give you prep questions or they do all these things. We've been down that road. I purposely do not prep. Purposely. I don't send questions because I want this to be like a conversation. If you came to my office or I came to yours, this conversation is how it would have been. Right. And my parents, I was born in Haiti.
Right.
And so my mom, it was interesting because I saw the migration from my mom. Right. Well, I didn't see it, but I was a kid.
Yeah.
But my mom left me in Haiti with my dad.
Right.
And then so my aunts. Yeah. So my mom sent over for me and my dad later on. So I grew up in Brooklyn.
She set the foundation. So it was the same mindset. And I tell my kids that I teach in the schools, I tell them all the time, I said, even if you hate your teachers, even if you don't like the school that you're going to, like the sacrifices that your parents did for you, you have to respect it. Right.
So if all else fails, just use that as your motivation tool. And that's what you did.
Right.
To get a full scholarship, brother, at Fordham. Right. So I'm proud of you. I'm proud of everything you've done, man. Like everything. And when we met last week and you told me you were Haitian, I was like, oh. And people know how I feel about my people, man. But it's just like that icing on the cake because I didn't know that part.
Yeah, because
so that was cool.
It's like a fraternity.
It is a fraternity,
because we know what that grind is like. We know what it is.
Yeah.
For not only to come and be in this state and have a disadvantage because you don't speak the language, you don't have the skill set, it's pure talent you're working off and grind and hustle and determination, which are all qualities of achieving success. They had a goal. They had purpose, right? That purpose is what allowed them to achieve and be successful in their way, to achieving that goal. So it's something special.
Oh, no, they achieved it, man. Three kids, right?
Yeah.
3 successful kids. Their kid went to school for free at one of the top universities in New York. He's very successful. You know what I mean? Like, you're a winner, man. And I know, that. I know Haitian moms and all moms, when they see their kids doing well, they're like, that's my son. That's my daughter, And it's a good feeling.
No,
right?
It's a great feeling. It's a great feeling because, growing up, your fathers are usually stern and they're the disciplinaries. So, I only saw him as discipline, So when I started playing basketball and I'm getting all county, all state, all section, and I'm in the newspaper every day and news, and now he's like, what's going on here? Yeah. Now he's coming to games and he's seeing how everybody else is treating me. Our entire relationship changed. It went from authority to now like your dad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we got to talk about things, and I saw him in a different light. He saw me in a different light because that's all he wanted from me, was to actually do something for myself that was legal and I can build off of.
Yes.
So to have that relationship was cool.
I love that, man. I love that. So after college, what happened? Like, you went straight to corporate America. What did you do?
So cool part is when I was in college, I kind of had the mindset. So I majored in psychology so I could understand how people thought. And I minored in business so I could market to them. Right. I kind of did it reverse. I knew if I had the basics of marketing and business, eventually my life skills and what I was doing would teach me more. But understanding, how people thought, that's different. I needed a professional to like dive in and teach me that. You know, so when I market to people or when I have conversations with people, I approach it differently.
Yes.
Right. So when I was in college, you know, I saw that there were, you know, our entire team is 6'6", 6'9", 6'10", walking through airports, and we're big billboards. So one of who's still my mentor to this day, Peter Paul Scott, was a marketing director at Tommy Hilfiger. So, you know, I started playing for his team at Rucker Park for Tommy Hilfiger. And I was like, hey, it's a bunch of tall dudes walking through the airports. Why don't Tommy Hilfiger partner with our school, outfit us, you know, we'll be rocking Tommy throughout the country. And they thought it was a great idea. So they made custom, you know, velour suits, shirts, bags, hats for our entire team and staff.
Wow.
At Fordham, and it was a partnership.
Yeah.
So my marketing mind was working at that time, you know.
In college.
So Tommy Hilfiger was a partner to our team. This is before, you know, all the big, you know, endorsement deals and stuff. So
that's cool, man.
You know,
that was my first deal.
First deal, right? Then senior year, we asked Sean John. So Sean John, you know, came on board. So our team was looking fly, you know, while I was in college. So my senior year in college, second half of the year, I tore my ACL.
Got it.
Basketball was all I knew in my life. I was going to class and I knew the importance of education, but basketball was my goal. You know, but when I tore my ACL, at that time, surgeries weren't the same as now. Technology wasn't the same. Now somebody tears the ACL, they'll be back in like 5-6 months.
Yeah.
For me, it was a year, you know, 14 months before I even was on the court again, considering playing. So I knew I had to do something. I couldn't just sit down, graduating, not doing anything for a year. So I was fortunate enough that I was able to start working on the Tommy Hilfiger business. You know, and working on their Jones Beach Summer Series and different platforms around Tommy Hilfiger. So I was getting that marketing insight. Yeah. With a small boutique agency, Vital Marketing at the time. So I was learning the insights in the business.
Wow. From Vital.
From Vital, yeah.
That's cool, man. Now, so was it hard for you to get that opportunity, or?
You know, with life, you know, a lot of it is putting yourself in the right position. It's timing, right place at the right time. And then letting people know what you're trying to do. You know, if I had just sat back and tried to figure it out myself, it would have probably been a little bit harder. Yeah. Because I'd be cold calling a lot of people I didn't know.
You didn't know, yeah.
Right? I was leveraging my resources, you know, my contacts.
You heard that, guys?
Right?
Keyword he used, leverage.
Right.
Leverage. Right?
Making those phone calls and tapping into the people that I knew. Because through conversation and building, I knew what their goals were and I knew how I can assist that. Yeah. Right. So I got an opportunity to tap into that.
I'm sorry, man. There was a part of the conversation that I skipped, and I just jumped over the fact that you tore your ACL, right? And that mindset. Because I was watching this Kobe Bryant documentary yesterday, and he said that he was sad, he was depressed. He was mad. He was angry. He had all these things. And the guy asked him, so how long was this, you know, this time period? He said, one night. He said, but at the end, he was just like, I went through all these different emotions. But at the end, I said, yo, I can't sit here. Right. I have to do something. Right. I have to take action. And a lot of people make all those emotions months and years, you know, and decades, and they don't take any action at all. And what ended up happening is, so I wanted to know from you, like, how long was that period, and what emotions did you go through?
You know, mine wasn't a day, and it wasn't, you know, 6 months. Yeah. It was right in between. For me, it was more so the rehab part of it, because there was a lot of factors you have to think about. I'm a college student, so I have to finish and graduate college as well. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So how am I going to get to classes? You know,
you can't walk.
I can't. Right. And the swelling has to go down before you have surgery. So you can't have surgery right away. Right. So there's a lot of factors that give you time to think, like, all right, when's the surgery happening? You know, I need to go meet with, you know, teachers to, you know, make sure class is straight. The beauty was that leading up to that point, I was taking summer courses all the time. So I only had one class to finish, right? But I still had, I was still meeting with teachers to, get insight on certain stuff. So there was still things that I had on schedule to do in addition, So after that period though, when surgery is done, I'm in the bed, the machine is pumping my leg to make sure, flexibility is there. It was survival mode now. So it's like, all right, it's going to be a year. So what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
And that's when you start playing different scenarios in your mind. And that's what led me to, tapping into Tommy Hilfiger. So it wasn't a day, but it wasn't 6 months. It was probably a month, through that whole period of me talking to teacher, graduation, surgery time, rehab. How long is this going to take? Because after the surgery, like I was on it. Like I wasn't going to sit back and just allow the process to I was going to, do everything that I could.
Yeah.
So I was coming back from surgery faster than it normally took. Like my trainer was like, man, you're up and walking in 2 weeks and that doesn't happen, So I was taking it serious. I knew that I needed to speed the process up to be able to do what I needed to do, thinking about survival mode.
You didn't want to delay the process.
Absolutely. I wasn't going to allow, anything to take course that I didn't have control over. Because I've had, teammates and friends who didn't take their surgeries serious. And to this day, it's impacting how they walk and impacting them.
Wow.
So I had a lot of factors to motivate me in addition to survival mode in me. I was like just seeing how it impacted other people as well.
And that's important too. Having the self-awareness and actually insight of looking and seeing examples.
Right.
Some people always ask me, how come you don't do certain things? I'm like, because I saw what I see what happens.
I pay attention.
I pay attention. You have to pay attention.
You do.
You do. I think success leaves clues, and I think this is a great tool, right? Because you're not only telling your story in here, you're interviewing a bunch of countless other people. Damon John, Barbara
Corcoran,
like
Kenny Smith, 2
Chainz, like
my wife Swing Cash.
Yes.
I wanted people to understand that the mindset wasn't just, being an entertainer or being in sports. Especially for our community.
Exactly.
Like you feel like you have to be within one of those industries to be successful. When I leverage a lot of different industries to show the common thread amongst it. The mindset, the methodologies, the habits that lead you to not only achieving success, but sustaining it over time. Exactly. And not this is success, it's your level of success. So whatever you're trying to accomplish, whatever you're trying to achieve, if you want to be the best babysitter, if you want to be the best dog walker, if you want to be the best chef, these are methodologies and habits you can incorporate into your life to achieve it and sustain it over time.
I love it. So what made you write this book?
Man, how selfish of me would it have been to be able to be in the same room, same places as these individuals year after year and not share that insight that I'm getting whenever I'm around them. The things I see, how they move. I wanted to give people access to be the fly on the wall, right? Like if this podcast wasn't airing, like you're a fly in this wall to our conversation, right? This is just a conversation we're having. And that's what I had with these individuals because I didn't want it to be something that you could just Google or look up, see in a bio. I wanted in-depth detail and insight into the things that you're afraid of, things that you fear, how you overcame it, and the things that you incorporated into your life to achieve where you are today. The transition of 2 Chainz from Titty Boy to 2 Chainz. What was he doing in between, right? You had one big hit as Titty Boy, and then you go silent for years, then you come back as 2 Chainz, and you're this megastar.
Yeah, what happened?
Right? What happened in between? What was your mindset like? What were you thinking, right? Kenny Smith transitioning from playing to being on air, on TV, winning Emmys. My wife, Swing Cash, she tore her ACL. Right. She had back surgery after, being the 2nd round pick in the WNBA and, fighting to get back to the Olympics, to be an Olympian, like what was that mindset like? And those are the things. Damon John, he and I are both dyslexic, the things we deal with that. Right. And the mindset behind that and sharing that insight so people can tap into it. Right. And give you access to achieve because, everybody doesn't have that access. Everybody isn't fortunate, and you have to understand your blessing to be able to give back, so people could tap into that as well, and even have a fair shot at life.
Yeah,
right?
No, I agree, man. This is a blessing. You're a blessing to the world, man.
I appreciate that.
And you know what? And I like that concept, because here's the thing: when people hit a certain level of success, everyone else feels like they can't attain it,
right,
or they're not accessible. Right? And even if they're not, these guys came from the same blocks that you. They took the same trains. They took the same buses. They went through the same. The only difference is they stuck to something. And key word for me, discipline.
Yeah, absolutely.
They had discipline. You have discipline.
Right.
Right? There's no way you could have did any. You know how hard it is to write a book?
Yeah.
You know?
Especially being dyslexic.
Yeah, trust me. I know. I used to hate reading, because I couldn't. It just looked too crazy to me.
Absolutely.
But there was this thing called IQ. It was this program, and I said I have to do it, and I trained myself, man. Because in school I couldn't figure it out. I was like, what's wrong with me? I thought I needed glasses. I bought glasses, and it was just like, why are these words looking so like it's like weird? I'm seeing things different, you know? And then all of a sudden one day, somebody was talking about, I think it was Damon John. He was talking about dyslexia, and I was like, wait a minute, that's what it is?
Yeah.
But it was this IQ thing, this program. I don't know if they still have it, but it was IQ, and it showed you how to train your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked, man. And ever since then, you know, it's just been, I control it, but it's still hard.
No, absolutely. And that's why I formatted the book the way I did. The way I spaced the words, the way I spaced the lines. Because being dyslexic, it helps. Because we skip words to find the bigger words to get a meaning of what the sentence was or the paragraph was. So we'll skip.
Yes,
but in the long run, that actually is a benefit, because now we can speed read, we can look through things. Once you train and understand how to leverage it, it becomes an advantage, which is really dope.
It's true. I do skip around, but I know what it's saying,
Yeah.
Anyway, that's good, man.
Yeah. So 1 in 5 people are dyslexic. 1 in 3 entrepreneurs are dyslexic. So sometimes people don't know why, and sometimes they'll label it as something else for kids in school, not understanding that they might be dyslexic, and that's the reason why they can't understand. Mm-hmm. They'll put them in special education, but they won't, further tap into them to, push them forward. It's more so like, all right, we'll put you here and you'll figure it out, so. I
was fortunate in high school that I met this lady named Miss Perry.
Yeah.
And so Miss Perry was one of my teachers, but she saw, because I was smart. I'm smart. I couldn't focus in certain classes because it just was like, I can't read this. So it was annoying me. But I found another outlet, was selling stuff. Right. So I was selling mixtapes. I was selling like bootleg DJ Envy tapes or whatever. And Clue, Jay-Z, all these people. And she put me in this program called Decker. And I was competing against other kids with marketing and advertising. And I excelled, man. But unfortunately, I didn't get any full scholarships to New York schools. It was actually out of state. And my parents didn't understand the school system. They were like, you ain't going.
Go to Wale.
Go to Wale. Where you going? And so I ended up going to Hofstra. And then
my sister and my niece went to Hofstra.
Yeah, man. Because I'm from Long Island. I grew up in Deer Park.
Nice.
Yeah. And then so shout out to them, man. They like when I give them shout outs.
Yeah.
My boy Andre, Rahman, those dudes, man.
Yeah, good friend of mine, Osei Miller, he played at Hofstra.
Oh yeah, Osei. Yeah.
That's my guy.
Word?
Yeah.
That's dope, man. Yeah, Hofstra's a good school. But so it's interesting, man. Like, when you see different things, like just by you saying that, the dyslexic, and then all of a sudden you said that's why I spaced the words the way I spaced them out to help others.
So it's deeper meaning.
It's deeper meaning. And that's the conversations that I'm talking about, like why people do certain things. Why do you have a shirt, I am a brand? Because you are a brand.
Right.
We all are brands, right? But the original word for brand, is reputation. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like your rep. It's it's how people view you. If someone was a good person with, writing, it's like, oh, a plumber, you need a good plumber. Oh, call so and so. That's your brand. Yeah. So you don't even. I have older people. I'm in real estate, so I have people who are contractors and plumbers, right? And these guys don't have business cards, and I'm like, let me make you business cards, man. I print. You need a business card, man, so I can hand it out for you. He's like, you're good enough. You can just give my number.
Yeah,
because. And I end up doing that. but it's interesting, man, because, so I'm looking at your shirt, man. I am a brand.
I'm
right?
the CEO of me.
Yeah, you are.
Right.
You are.
And that's what people need to tune into to understand that, you are a brand. It's up to you to decide if you activate it or not. But are you going to write your story or are you going to allow somebody else to write your story? And to that, meaning, are you going to allow, other people to build that reputation for you? And it might not be aligned with the direction you want to go. Mm-hmm. You might get that word of mouth, but it could be like, yeah, he's good, but he never shows up on time. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to set that reputation so you know that I'm good and I show up on time and I'm going to deliver. Ability to share that content through different platforms, through social media, through your website, and through that word of mouth and of having that conversation with people, and being a living example. So I try to live that every day and write my own story.
Write your own story.
Right.
How important do you think it is for a young entrepreneur? Because how long you been doing this? Like
17 years.
17 years, right? 17, 19, right? And so we've been doing this a long time, so we understand that. But what can you tell a younger entrepreneur 3 years in, 5 years in, or 1 year in, how important it is for that brand? Because the key word now is, I'm a brand, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am you know what I'm saying? Like, right. They could say it, but you have to live it. Right. You have to live it, you have to like push yourself beyond what's comfortable for you. Right. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And
I always say, the magic happens outside of the comfort zone, right? When you're in the comfort zone, you're doing everything that feels good to you, right? And the comfort zone can be fine, but you have to understand that that's the life you chose, right? If this is where I want to be right now and I'm good, cool. But you can't be mad at the other people who are grinding and they're excelling and exceeding past where you thought that the limits were and where you should be, and you're not there. You can't be mad at that person because you don't know what they're doing to get there. Yeah. But they're outside of their comfort zone because growth happens outside of the comfort zone. When I was in corporate America, I had to put myself in positions that were uncomfortable in order to grow within corporate America. That's how I was going to learn. So I took on sales jobs that I didn't know about the beverage industry.
Yeah.
But I took sales jobs to understand how the customer thought. Yeah. How developing campaigns and how it would look in a store. When somebody walks in, what are the things they look at that piques their interest? I had to put myself in that grind to learn that, then go into marketing to use those sales insights to incorporate them into marketing campaigns, into going into community affairs and learning how to make big brands smaller and give back to the community. I did all those roles in order to fully understand the business, how to run the business, from sales to marketing to community. That's everything within the company, the feel good, the marketing and the sales, and the bottom line. So I put myself in positions to be uncomfortable in order to get comfortable and fully understand and grow.
Yeah. Wow. Hope you guys are listening to this, man, and understand. Just take it in, rewind this, pause for a second, take notes, because Steve is dropping a lot right now, man. And, what was the biggest challenge for you when you were in corporate America? Because, let's be honest, man. Like, you're a big dude. You're African American. You're Haitian, right? 6'6".
It can be intimidating.
It's intimidating, and advertising world is a little skitty, little people, what I mean? And so that don't look like us. And so, that lane to get in, first of all, to get in is hard.
Right.
So the gatekeepers are, that's a difficult part.
Absolutely. There's a lot of tapping on the shoulders. Like, people know who they want in certain roles.
Exactly.
Because they get comfortable and they understand what they're going to get out of certain people. But what was a bonus for me was playing sports. Playing basketball is a team sport. So you have to learn how to play with others in order to achieve your goal. So, on my team at Fordham, I have somebody from Lithuania, I have somebody from Jamaica, somebody from France, somebody from Jersey, somebody from Pennsylvania, somebody from Detroit. That's all different personalities.
Exactly.
And it teaches you that life isn't cookie cutter. So you can't approach everybody the same.
Exactly.
So no matter if you are skinny or, you're small and I might be intimidating, I'm going to overwhelm you with love and understanding that you have no choice but to appreciate who I am and want me in your circle.
And what I bring to the table.
And what I bring to the table.
Yeah.
Right? So team sports allowed me to understand the dynamic of working with others and bringing my best self to make the unit better.
And also, I think one thing to add to, I'm just knowing you were very confident in your ability because you were prepared.
Absolutely.
So you knew what your value was. You knew what you could add to the table. So you didn't get intimidated. So it was just like, and I think, and not to say it's a Caribbean thing or it's an immigrant thing, but I think a lot of times, like my mom, I didn't know racism until I got married.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I didn't realize there was a separation. I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Because my mom didn't raise me my mom and dad didn't raise me like that. Right. It wasn't like, oh, because you're black, you can't do this. Because you're white, white people do this and this and that. No, it wasn't that. It was, you come from an island of this, and this is what can happen. So you came to America for opportunity. You gonna go get it.
Right. You're gonna go get it.
And so coming in, it was. Some people are like, oh, he's cocky. No, I'm confident. I know what I'm bringing to the table, and I think that's what you did too. So even on the basketball court, you dominated. The reason why you're on all the getting all the accolades and the awards and winning and the full scholarship was because, first of all, you had that mindset of a winner. You had the determination of a winner. You knew your purpose. You had the drive. You know what I'm saying? And you had this why. You knew your why.
Absolutely.
At a young age. So it doesn't matter what industry. Like this advertising space was your basketball court. This book world, the publishing world was your basketball court.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like any space and we're going to talk about the music festival stuff, like all this stuff is your basketball court. And the thing that people don't have, a lot of people don't have, is they don't know their why.
Yeah.
They don't have that plug in behind them, like, boop, and I could turn it on. Like you and your wife are both high achievers. You know what I'm saying? Like high achievers, so that type of combination, man, your kid is blessed, man,
Man, that's having a child. He's 1.5 now.
He's 1.5?
He's starting to talk. Well, he's saying words. He's talking. He's repeating everything we're saying now. And just to see how active he is.
It's a blessing,
But
man.
the beauty of it is to know that we're putting the proper love into him is when he's at school or daycare and, teachers are saying, man, and they could be saying this about other kids, but I could see it in their eyes. They're like, man, Sane is my favorite. I love that kid. I know that he's giving them that love, that happiness that they want, every day. He's coming, he's smiling, he's playing, he's in his own world. He doesn't need that much attention, and we know that something good is coming out of it because other people are telling us how they feel about him, and he's 1.5, right? So that's an amazing feeling. But going back to what you were saying about the why, you have to look yourself in the mirror. It starts there. You have to look at yourself in the mirror because that person you see in the mirror isn't lying. That's who you are. Some people try to deny the things that they're not great at, right? You have your strengths and you have your weaknesses. When you identify those weaknesses, it makes you stronger because you know what you're not the greatest at and you know what you need support in. You know what you need to further develop to make it a strength. So when I went into corporate America or now or whatever industry, I know what I'm not good at. So I'm going to work towards it. I'm going to surround myself with the people who are, to put me in a position to become great at it. Right. And you have to be confident enough to understand that, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to learn from somebody else. You don't need to be in a room and know everything.
Exactly.
Right? If you feel like you know everything, I'm telling you, you don't. You don't
know everything.
You don't know everything.
No, we don't.
Right? And, it's okay to look in that mirror and be real with yourself. Because that's how you're going to grow.
Yeah.
If you're lying to yourself and acting and fronting, sooner or later, you're going to be confronted.
You're going to hit the wall.
You're going to hit the wall, and all of it's going to come to a forefront, and, your bullshit's going to be called.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So do the due diligence now, learn, enhance, grow, and make your weaknesses a strength, and double down on your strengths.
Double down on it. And I think that's what you've done really well, man. So let's talk about,
for me, it's like the reaction, when you say certain things, I'm taking it all in, because we usually live within our head and we feel as if we're doing certain things a certain way. But from the outside looking in, it can be totally opposite of what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm great. This is amazing. I'm the best, until you ask somebody, I'm like, you could be better at writing. You can be better at, when you speak in front of audiences and not using so much and this and that, So I try to tap into, those around me who have actually listened, seen, tapped into my world to give me that honest truth, So that's why I sit back and I'm listening, and sometimes I don't react as much to certain compliments or things you say, because I'm taking it all in, to get an understanding, a full grasp from the outside looking in, so I appreciate that.
And what you create is accountability partners to make you stronger.
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't want to do that.
Yeah.
First of all, a lot of people don't want to look at the mirror.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people don't like truth, honesty.
They don't like truth, honesty, nothing, man. And it's important. I have accountability partners too. My man Jeff, Patrick, right here. My wife.
Right.
My wife is the biggest one, man, and I live with her. It's like a walking mirror, man. Like, she's just like, yo.
That's it.
But you need that, man. You need that.
And having a life partner, having somebody that you could bounce ideas off of, somebody who can look at you and be like, hey, and give you ideas to elevate yourself, is so priceless.
It is.
Because I was Steve Canal version, B prior to my wife. Now I'm Steve Canal, A+, with my wife, because she holds me accountable to things. We bounce ideas off each other. She'll look at me and tell me the truth, and everybody might be whispering other things, It's always real, and that is such a blessing to have on your side.
Absolutely. It's true. How long you been married?
4 years.
4 years.
Yeah,
blessing, man.
4 years. Got married in 2015. And this is continued growth.
Yeah. It's I just celebrated 10 years.
Congrats.
And I have a 3-year-old, so I know what it is, man. And how do you balance that now? Right? How do you balance the having a baby? Because before marriage, you were a grinder, man. Like,
do whatever I wanted to do when I wanted to do it.
Yeah. So, you need to take a business meeting in Atlanta, you go. California, you go. And now it's like
things are
you have to think
now.
about. So how do you balance that? And what suggestions would you give someone else?
The key word is priorities. I know what my priorities are, right? Some people might say work is number one, God, and something else, family, right? You have to know what your priorities are and the order of it. So when you make decisions, you can live with those decisions, right? If I decide to cut a meeting short from a trip that's usually would take 3 days, and I cut it down to 1, my priority is family over work. So I'm okay with that decision and what comes of it, I have to live with it because I made that decision. But that's my priority. I know what's more important to me.
Exactly.
Spending time with my family, my son who's 1.5 years old. These are times that's impressionable. He's learning a lot right now.
Yep.
So I rather spend 3, 4, 5 hours with my son than being at a meeting.
Exactly.
Right. So it's priority. So as long as you can prioritize, know what's most important, and list those things 1 through 5, 1 through 4, 1 through 3, whatever it is for you, and live by it and understand that, you know, the decisions you make come from those priorities. What's most important to you in your life at that time. Not to say that it can't change a year from now, 5 years from now, because we evolve, we grow. You're supposed to, at least. So it's okay to prioritize and live by that priority.
And to piggyback, that's great. And to piggyback off of that, I would also add that most of the time, the people that if you don't put your family first or whatever it is first, most of the people that you're meeting with, if something in their family came up, they would cut you
they'll
off.
be out in a second.
They'll be out in a second. So remember that, you know, that happened to me a lot of times.
Yeah.
Because before I had a kid, I would grind first, you know. But if you look at my website, my order for years used to be, you know, God, entrepreneur life. You know what I mean? Like work, grind. Now now it's on my website, and it says, there's a picture of me, and it says family. It says dad, dad, husband, entrepreneur.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not entrepreneur first.
Right.
No, I'm a dad first.
Absolutely.
I take my son to my schools. I take my son to work. Like, he knows. You know what I'm saying? And if sometimes I take him to the podcast. Like, I don't let my son become a crutch. You know what I mean? Sometimes people are like, oh, I can't do this because no, you became an entrepreneur to leave a legacy for your kid, right? You know, I think a lot of times when you see kids who don't want to take over the family business, is because they're throwing it down their throats.
Yeah.
At the end.
Right.
They didn't throughout the business, they didn't involve them in the business. And then so now when the kid is older and made a decision, now you're like, oh, by the way, I'm retired now. You take over. No, I don't want it.
I don't want nothing to do with this.
I don't want nothing to do with it. I'm cool. You didn't want me before to be around. So you bring your kid around. Like, you have a really cool business. So, like, bringing your kid around and seeing all this, like, he's going to grow up in this world, and even around your wife, grow up around this world that most kids will never see.
Man, like, and I capture everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right? You one of those parents too?
I capture everything because he's 1.5 now, right? And he doesn't fully grasp or understand everything he's experiencing right now, even though he's traveling everywhere. He got his passport, he got stamps. He's taking over 30 flights, you know.
Already
and
at 1.5.
At 1.5. And my wife was a professional athlete.
Yeah.
You know, now she's on TV and stuff, but, you know, we're going to NBA All-Star, and, you know, he's hanging with Magic Johnson. You know, Dwayne Wade is holding him.
Crazy.
You know, he's on the court dribbling with Muggsy Bogues. Like, these are things I have to capture. She has to capture, because he needs to know his lineage, where he comes from, and the experiences he's had.
Exactly.
And, you know, things to look up to and experience, you know.
Amazing.
So we try to involve him in almost everything that we do, so he can get that experience and be built within it. And he can make that decision if he wants to or not, but he's going to be able to make a conscious decision,
exactly,
you know, based off that.
Yeah.
You know,
and I think this is the new age parenting too, man.
Yeah.
Because I think the old school parenting was like, I'm not going to involve my kid in this. Let him be a kid. And then, but being a kid is involving them and being, you know what I'm saying? Because our lives are very complicated now, you know, so it's not one person stays home, one person takes care of the kid, and the other person just goes out in the world. Everyone has to be involved in the kid's life. And just to go back a little bit, just to give my little comment, when the babysitter or the daycare person tells you, oh my God, I love your son, happy homes, a kid will show.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So like when like my son smiles a lot, he's happy. You know what I mean? But he comes from a happy home.
Right.
When a kid's not happy, you can see it.
Yeah.
And so then that is a reflection of the home. You know what I mean? And so, you know, so when you say, once you said that to me, that was the first thing that popped up in my mind. Oh, of course. Like, he comes from a happy home. You chilling with Magic Johnson. Like, I would be happy too, man. You know? And so, but anyway, but it's interesting, man. Like, there's a slogan. I have these group of kids. I'm going to show you the video when we leave, right? So it's these little 10 fifth grade kids, right? They created a business called Express Teas, right? Right? No, yeah, Express Teas. And their slogan is, I don't want to be blank. I don't want to be the next blank. I want to be the next me, right? They came up with it. I didn't. But it was to involve, like, I could be better than Magic Johnson. Right. I could be better. Why do I want to be him? I could probably be better than him if I aim higher than him.
And not in a negative way.
And not in a negative way.
I've learned the lessons from their growth and their experience. I could take off that and build. Right.
And that's the part that's really cool, where you have fifth graders are thinking like, yo, I don't have to be Dwayne Wade. I don't have to be LeBron James. I could be better than them. And they're thriving and they're striving to it. And I'm like, yes. You see what I'm saying? Like, talking about that, right? Growing up, who did you look at as like a mentor from afar? Like, was there anybody or somebody like in the industry? It could be anybody.
Yeah. So it's interesting because I'm a big music lover. So I always tapped into music. So when I believe I might have been 15 or 16 when Tupac came out with All Eyes on Me. And then prior to that, Juice, Above the Rim. There was just so much happening. And I didn't realize at the time, because I thought 24, 25 was grown. Just still a child at 24, 25 years old. Right? And not in a disrespectful way. Like, there's still a lot to learn. You know, and there's some who are fortunate, been around some great people and are advanced at 25. But I know my mindset at 24, 25. I bought my first house at 26, but I know what that mindset was at that time, right? And for everything that he was doing at 24 years old, he was like a father figure. You know what I'm saying? He was only 24 years old, you know, 23, you know, at some of the things that he was doing. And at that age, 15, 16 years old, I'm just seeing the diversity of thought. For me was huge because I would see him in the movies, then I'm hearing music and he's talking about his experiences through life, you know, going to hotels, checking out and taking vacations and hanging out with people. And then you see these videos of him having a good time and everybody's just talking so, you know, grand about this one individual. So for me from afar, I appreciated that diversity of thought. I didn't understand what it was at the time, but I just know he was doing different things. And at that time, I was like, I don't want to work in an office, you know, and I was able to tap into that by seeing him playing different characters, you know, and being in music and being at Mike Tyson fight, Mike Tyson hugging him and loving him. Mike Tyson was God to us as a boxer at that time, you know, so to see people that you love showing somebody else that type of love, there was something about that individual.
It's true.
You know, so I was able to tap into that.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good one, man. Mine was Diddy. You know, like seeing his similar, man, like seeing Diddy's story. I grew up in that era, and in school they used to call me J Diddy, right? Because I was like that hustle type of dude, and we were both Scorpios,
right?
And so I always was like looking at him, and 2 days ago when I found out when they made the announcement, the first billionaire rapper, right? And I was like I was happy for Jay-Z, but I was like a little sad for Puff, you know, because me and my boy Frank, when we were kids, like who you think is gonna win, right? And so I was like, oh, Puff, and then, you know, so he was like, nah, Jay-Z, and then we kept going back and forth. And so when Jay-Z put out that line in Family Feud, talking about we're gonna hit the Billy first, I was like, oh, that's crazy. Why would he put that when Puff is about to be right? He's right there. Man, he got it. But I love it though, man.
Hov kind of cheated though because Hov got Beyonce. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that mindset, when you got somebody like a Beyonce in your life, that's how I feel with my wife. It's like it pushes you to want to do more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, all right, I gotta take it further. What else can I do? You know? And Diddy, you know, he was with J-Lo and he was making a lot of moves at that time. You know, he was real in love, you know, and then, you know, kind of faded away. And then, you know, I think that kind of probably could have affected his potential. You know, having that person by your side that's going to keep you straight and motivated sometimes, you know, can steer you off.
You know what? I didn't even think about that, but it's so true, man. You know, we had this marriage conversation a couple times and, you know, there's a debate, but we say most successful men, it doesn't matter what race you are, most successful men are married.
Right.
Majority of them are. And they're more successful than single men. And so I'm like, hey, now you can't even,
right.
He hit it, you know, and you hit the nail on the head, you know, and I wasn't even thinking about Beyonce.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he's married.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And a married man is focused, man. You know what I'm saying? And I lost the deal. I lost the real estate deal because I brought this guy with me. This was when I was like in my 20s. And I told this story a couple of times, but it's always in my mind when we talk about success and marriage. And so I was in a meeting with this sheik, right? And there was another guy I brought. He was like, so I was 20 something. This guy had to be like 40. We come into the meeting. Everything is good. And at the end of the meeting, he goes like this. He tells the sheik, "You can call me anytime." So the guy goes, "What do you mean?" Me and you hear that, it's no big deal. All right, cool. Because you know what time is your anytime is 10 o'clock is done, right? Or 9 o'clock is done, whatever your cutoff time is. This guy asked him, "What do you mean?" He said, 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, if you need something, call me. He's like, "I'm not calling you at 4 o'clock in the morning. Why?" He said, "You married?" He said, "No." He said, "You have kids?" He said, "No." He said, "Gene, I can't do the deal." I said, "What? Wait, why?" He said, "I can't trust a grown man like that. That's never been married and never he can't commit. A man like that can't commit, and that means he might be able to get a few hits, you know, once or two." And he's saying this in front of him. And the guy didn't even move. He didn't even comment. He didn't even argue. He was just like, I have to like self-reflect. And the guy was telling him, he was like, "Yo, you can't commit. Now that you told me that, now I know you can't commit. So how can we commit over a long period of time doing commercial deals? It won't work." And I was so broken up because I didn't have a girl, you know. I was young. I was like 22. And I was like, yo, did I just lose a deal because the dude wasn't married? And so when you think about certain things, you just like.
And there's another key to that too, is overplaying the situation. He should have just left it as is, you know. Sometimes it's like, you know, the situation will be where it needs to be, and you just want to add another sentence or keep going. For what? Everybody agreed, like, cool, we good. Call me anytime. And that one little thing.
I will never forget that. Call me anytime. The guy said, he said, "Why?"
Right.
He said, "What do you mean?" "What do you mean?" And I'll never forget it, man. That scene, I wish I could pause it, rewind, and delete. Right. Because it would have changed everything, you know. But you know what? I don't regret it because it was a lesson. But also, you know, come to find out, the guy was right. The guy was right because the dude ended up being a shady business person, you know. But I don't know if it was because he's single, but it was just he couldn't commit. So he was right. And I ended up doing business with the Sheik anyway, but it was interesting, man. You know, and the fact that you brought up the whole marriage thing and Beyonce and Jay-Z, that's totally skipped my brain.
Yeah.
You know, and your wife does put a level of, she pushes you, man. I know my wife pushes me, man. Like,
and
certain times when I want to be comfortable and I'm like, yo, we good. She's like, psh. All right, Steve. So let's, towards the end, right? What, I know you have the festival coming up, right?
Mm-hmm.
In when is it?
Yeah. So, you know, fortunate to be a part of an amazing team for a music festival called One Music Fest in Atlanta. It is the fastest growing progressive music festival in the Southeast. 50,000 people, 2 days, celebrating 10-year anniversary this September. You know, kudos to Jay Carter, who is, you know, the founder of One Music Fest. And, you know, it's just about having great people and having same goals, you know, to work towards. You know, all of us are family men, you know, got kids, married, and you know, we're just trying to, you know, to your point, like you said earlier, leave a legacy, you know. So, you know, every day it's about growth. It's about creating something new to offer to the world, you know. So it's amazing, you know, that One Music Fest is celebrating 10 years. There's some great news coming out actually later on today. That'll be great. You know, announcing all the artists and some partnerships that'll be happening this year. You know, maybe come back and talk about that. But it's about growth. So, you know, I'm constantly thinking of, you know, what's next, what's new that we can leave, you know, for our families, for our kids to be able to take over and, you know, develop and incorporate them early into it. You know, my son was able to attend last year and, you know, be a part of the festival.
That's
and,
so cool, man. You
know, take pictures with everybody and listen to music and get that experience in early. So it's about growth. It's about, you know, if there's one thing I should, you know, if you take out of this is ownership. You know, you're in real estate, so you know ownership is key. They're not making more land. They always say that. They're not making more land. So, you know, being able to buy properties if you can, you know, coming up with ideas or services that you can own, you know, you should want to aspire to get to that point.
Exactly.
You know, working for somebody, you know, I would never, you know, shit on somebody who feels as if, you know, the corporate route or working for somebody, you know, is for them, because it's a different hustle.
It is.
Right? Everybody's DNA is different. Your DNA is built for that. My DNA isn't, you know, but I know that there are key learnings from both sides. Have an entrepreneurial mindset to bring that into corporate. And from a corporate perspective is strategy, you know, and that's what I had to learn when I went to corporate. I went to corporate to learn I got paid to learn how to run a $1 billion business. Right.
Exactly.
So I was learning strategy because prior as an entrepreneur, I was going off of all skill, you know, all talent. But when I incorporated the strategy side and thinking in the future, 3-year plan, 5-year plan, and putting things into motion, now it became a business, you know? So
I love it.
It's key learnings and everything, but ownership is key.
Ownership is key. You said, you mentioned this a few times, right? The word partnership.
Yeah.
And I like that. Describe why you consider things, because you said partnership with Fordham and Tommy Hilfiger. You said partnership a few different times. So what's your relationship with the word partnership, and why is that important? Why do you think that's important for young entrepreneurs to?
It's a mindset to know that it isn't always about you. Usually when you go into a situation, whether it's a friendship, relationship, it's deeper than what am I getting out of this situation? It's how are we going to make this work together? Because you have an agenda and goals. I have agenda and goals. How are we going to come together to make it unison so it works together? So you're hitting on your metrics and what you're trying to achieve, and I'm doing the same. Too many times people go into situations and it's, all right, what can I get out of this for me to make my situation better? Right? And you ruin relationships that way because it's all about you now. And every time you're making a phone call, sooner or later, people aren't going to answer the phone because you're calling for something, you know, opposed to like, how can I help you grow? What can we do today to grow together? And I try to tell people to try to delete the word, you know, sponsorship out of their mind.
I hate that word.
You know, because sponsorship is, hey, you're giving me a check. I might have 10,000 people attend my event, but 10,000 people might not care about the product, service that this partner or the sponsor is giving you this check for. You just see people, you're not thinking about how is this going to benefit this relationship. And that's how relationships are ruined. That's how situations are ruined. And it can make that potential, you know, organization not support the next person because you were selfish.
Exactly.
It was all about you. And sometimes, you know, I don't fault people because that's all they know. They're just trying to get something to grow and build. So they don't think about that side of it, but understand that you can ruin a relationship if you take that mindset in. So go into every situation thinking partnership. What can I bring to the table? How can I support this individual? And then, you know, you have your ask and you go back and forth and you build something.
Exactly.
But I never go in a situation thinking, you know, what am I getting out of this? It's how are we going to build?
Build together.
Right.
I like the fact that, you know, partnership versus sponsorship, right?
Yeah.
Partnerships outweigh, you know, every deal, even clients, you know, I always say it's a partnership. You know, it's, I have a partnership with Cumulus, you know, it's not a, I don't like the word sponsorship. I remember when with ACA, people would come to us because we used to throw big events, and people, you know, people would come to us, companies, and say, "Hey, can you get us sponsorships?" And I used to be like, "No," and it, you know, my partners would flip out because they were like, "No, we could try to get it." And I was like, "But the thing is, we get the sponsorship for him or her, but then." At the end of the day, when the sponsor is not happy, we lose the relationship with the sponsor.
Right.
The client who paid us one time is long and gone, and we're probably going to outlive those clients. And
Right.
Majority of the time, now we're 13 years in, we outlasted a lot of people.
Absolutely.
And so if I took the route of listening to them, I probably would have been gone too. But because I was like, no, partnerships. And I use the word partnership a lot too.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that too, even with people. It's just like,
Absolutely.
when I don't call people staff in my team. I'm like, yo, this is my partner, this is my partner, this is my partner.
Yep.
Because we have to help each other. Partnerships grow. And that's that team mentality again.
Yep.
There you go with that team mentality.
Absolutely.
I love it. Steve, man. Steve, thank you, man. Is there any last tips? Before I ask you that question, so the show is called Faith, Grind, Inspire, right? Which one of the three words really resonate with you and like why?
You know, it's hard to just pick one word.
You don't have to pick one word.
Because
yeah, but you know, if you don't have to.
One of the things that I talked to 2 Chainz about were the 3 Ps. And it's patience, passion, and purpose.
Patience, passion, and purpose.
Right. And when I think about that, you know, faith and grind, and we talk about the faith, having the faith to know that when you're working towards your purpose, that you know what you're working towards. You have to have faith in that and believe. And you have to have the grind, which is the purpose. It fuels it, right, to work towards that. But at the end of the day, you have to have patience because it is a journey, right? There are going to be bumps in the road. There are going to be hurdles, and you have to get around it, figure out ways to get around it and over it to get towards that purpose. But that passion, that grind is what's going to fuel it to get you there. Right. So it's all of the above, you know, all of it resonates. But at the end of the day, you need to have faith, which is that purpose and understanding that you're working towards something and know that you were put here for that.
Thank you, man. That's great. It's true. That's why I actually created the show.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I remember there was somebody that wanted me to change the name of the show when we were first creating it. And I said, well, if these are the 3 points we want to hit, why change the show? Why change the name?
Right.
And the individual said, well, that's Faith, Grind, Inspire is your brand. not mine. And I said, no. See, that's where you got it twisted. Faith Ground Inspires not Gene Alerts.
Right.
It's everybody's. You know what I mean? This is not, I don't own that. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, now I do, but Faith Ground Inspires not, I don't own that concept.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Everyone has it. Everyone has Faith Ground Inspire. You have to believe, you have to put into work, and you're going to inspire people. You're going to, you know what I'm saying? So it's going to, that's just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for that. Any last tips or any pieces of advice like you would give like your younger self or someone younger that's coming up in the ranks and moving up in the trying to make their name out there?
For me, it's very simple, and it's what I live by. It's my morning mantras, my nightly mantra. You only live once, so why not be great? You know, you only live once, so why are you delaying? Why are you not trying? Why are you not doing? Why not be great? Why just let life fall by the wayside and be miserable, be angry? Be great. You only live once. You don't get to do this again. You're very blessed and fortunate to have the opportunity to wake up today and put some passion behind your purpose and get it. And it doesn't need to be home runs. It could be small steps every day. But one of the things I always say is you're one step closer.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get one step closer every day. If it's a phone call, if it's doing some research, one step closer to what you're trying to accomplish, and you have to put action behind it. So you only live once, so why not be great?
Why not be great? I love it, man. You know, I didn't ask you one question that I wanted to ask you. You mind taking one more question?
Okay.
How do you manage success? Like, how do you, like, most people say, how do you manage failures, right? But I heard that question, and I was like, that stumped me.
Mm-hmm.
How do you manage it?
Did you answer it?
Huh?
Did you answer it?
No. You know, I mean, for me, I think managing success, right? Or how do I manage success is I don't get comfortable in it. So I'm like, okay, I don't stay in that moment. So once I get a win, I move on.
So
you know?
the key to that, and I knew what you were going to say.
Yeah.
Because it's a common thread amongst those who view life in that way, right? And you said it, it's a journey. It's not a destination.
Exactly.
Most people live as life as a destination.
Yeah.
Like, I'm getting here. All right, you get there, then what?
Then what?
Right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's a journey, you understand there's a beginning, there's an end, but that dash in the middle is life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're born and there's death. In the middle is life. A lot of people forget about the dash. They only see the end and the beginning, and they have a destination. Like, I'm trying to do this until here. Nah, like, continue going. Continue rewriting your goals. You achieve it, cool. What's next?
What's next?
You know, you have a thirst for something.
Yeah.
Right? Continue building off your goals.
Yeah.
Continue to grow. You know, and if you don't accomplish something today, move it on till tomorrow and work towards it. And then the next day or something else.
Yeah.
You know, but it's a journey. There's a dash. That dash is everything that you've experienced, all the passion, all the ups, all the downs, the beauty of what life is. It's that dash. It's the journey.
It's the journey.
It's appreciating your journey. And sometimes it's like, all right, you get a Grammy as an artist and you think like you've made it. No, there's still a lot of more recordings and music to do.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you have 1 Grammy, 5 Grammys, 7 Grammys doesn't mean you can't get 30, 40, or 50 because of your body of work.
Exactly.
For a lifetime.
Yeah.
All right, you only want to, make music till 35, then you want to retire. Cool. Where do you want to retire? What are you going to do when you retire? What is that going to look like?
What does that look like?
Right? There's constantly more, So it's just living that dash and understanding that journey, and you hit it on the head. I knew what you were going to say.
Yeah. And it's interesting, man, because this is a special week for hip hop, and having you on here for this week's guest on this, at the same time as Jay-Z hitting that billion. I don't talk about rappers. There's never any of this stuff. But it's just, for me, being a business owner, right, and an entrepreneur for so long, and watching these dudes, man, and seeing them just battle. You know what I mean? But so that's why I'm talking about this. Most of my listeners are like, oh, I've never heard Gene go this way. You know what I mean? This is the most.
Yeah.
And but someone put a comment on my boy Matt Home Loans, right? So he Matt Garland. So he put, Jay-Z, what happened? And this guy wrote, if he's a billionaire, why is he still touring? And so, that type of person is the person that I'm like, I hope listens to this and understands what you just said. It's a journey.
Right.
It's a real journey. The journey is not the billionaire mark. Cause
that's like asking Jeff Bezos, why is he still working at Amazon?
Thank you. Why is Jeff Bezos still working at Amazon? Why is he still doing?
Why is he still innovating?
Why is he still? Why
is Elon Musk trying to go to Mars? Why is he doing spaceships?
Why is Oprah not?
Why is Oprah running on? Like, dude,
why do you keep going? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, people, our people, we guys, wake up. Like, it's not about getting to the billionaire status and stopping. It doesn't end. It's not buying one house and stopping. It's not buying, things. That's not even it.
When you wake up and you're doing something that you love and you're passionate about,
keep going.
That's life.
Yes.
That's what it should be. You shouldn't wake up and be miserable like, I hate what I'm doing.
Yes.
If you hate what you're doing, guess what? You need to be doing something else.
Facts.
Figure out what you love. Figure out what you would do and not get paid for. Those are the people that continue to go when they hit certain marks because they want to innovate. They want to create. They want to influence. They want to be known forever. They're putting their names in the history books.
Yeah.
Right? So it's figuring out something that you love and do that.
Yeah.
It's the most amazing feeling in the world.
Most amazing feeling. I used to go to the schools before. Now I get paid to go to schools, but before I used to go to schools for free.
Right.
And I'll speak, take time in my day, and education is big for me. And educating the kids on entrepreneurship is huge.
Right.
I don't look for anything. I just go do it. Now everyone's calling me like, hey, can you come? Can you do this? Can you partner with this? Can you partner with that? I'm thinking my cousin, he's married. He's in advertising in Atlanta, and he was telling me how banks are looking for people like me to partner with to go into the schools because they're looking for someone authentic that's entrepreneur that's already in the schools and knows.
Right.
And I said, yeah, no problem. Let's work. The other day, I went to a school and they were bringing in, some speakers. But when the kids saw me, that's one of my main schools. When the kids saw me, they erupted. So one of the speakers said, "Who are you?" Because when they were introducing the principal, they all thought it was me. They were like, "Oh, this is the principal." And then so when they realized I wasn't the principal, I wasn't one of the speakers. One of the ladies came up to me and said, "Yo, who are you?" I said, "I'm Gene Alert." She said, No. I know your name, but who are you in the school to these kids? And I was like, why? She said, because, they erupted. We need that energy in all these schools. And I said, I do this for free. I don't get the amount of money that I get paid to go into a school is not even close to, you know what I'm saying? But knowing that I'm changing lives, knowing that I'm changing the perception of what an entrepreneur looks like in these kids' minds is by far the best.
Absolutely.
And you're doing the same thing, man. And, I hope you guys are listening out there, man. So where can people find you? Because I know we can go on and on, and I know you got things to do. So where can people find you? Where can people buy the book? Can they buy it on your website?
Yeah, so the key to marketing and branding is being consistent. So every platform is Steve Canal.
Steve Canal.
SteveCanal. So you can go on my website, stevecanal.com, get a little more insight on who I am. You get access to the book. I have audio version, soft copy as well, ebook. Our brand, the Brand Executive, which is a platform to empower small businesses, entrepreneurs, and those looking to climb the corporate ladder. So, I help, people trademark. I help people, and build their website, develop their logo, their brand, what's going to be, presented to the world. From that to strategy to growth, so the brand executive is built for that. And from that, we developed a clothing line, apparel line called I Am a Brand. I am the CEO of me, which just, it gives you the reassurance of showing the world that you understand who you are and what you present and bring to the world, and know that I manage that. I'm the CEO of me.
Exactly.
Right? And everything that's being presented to the world, I package that, I put it out in that messaging. So that's what the brand executive is all about. But you have access to all of that through stevecanal.com.
Great website too, man.
All my social media at Steve Canal. Shoot me a note. Let's work. You can set some time on my calendar on my website to do mentor sessions, coaching sessions as well. So you get everything up through the website, stevecanal.com.
Man, thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much. This was a blessing, man.
I always appreciate a great conversation.
Yeah, brother. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another great episode of Faith, Grind, Inspire. I would love for you guys to subscribe, share with your friends, especially this conversation. Share with your friends, Facebook, Instagram. Everything is Faith, Grind, Inspire. You can go to faithgrindinspire.com. Thank you to our producers, Tim, Jamie, Brianna, and today our special producer, Patrick Jeffrey, one of my first clients
with
at
his
ACA.
cold blazer, bow tie.
Yo, just get in the shot real quick. He don't want to get in the shot. He's behind the scenes. All right, now he's shot. But Columbia, man, we'll talk about Patrick another day, man. But anyway, so thank you. And go out and get this, right? The Mind of a Winner. Go get it. Go get it. I'm going to read this book. I'm going to review it. And I'm going to tell people about it. I'm going to post it on my Instagram.
Appreciate
and follow me on Instagram, Mr. Alert. And God bless. Peace.
Peace.